Can you please state your full name?
I'm going to do an oral history interview of my father.
It's the 3rd of December and I am interviewing my grandparents.
And I will be interviewing my amma.
My name is Krishna Avanti, and this is my oral history interview with my father, Brother Chaudhury.
Akademi's Heritage Project is about connecting our present to our past and then to our future. What better way to do this than to delve into the histories of our families and communities?
It's a new kind of work for Akademi. We're looking at the intersection of oral history and choreography.
So for me, oral history is really about giving people the tools to tell their own stories in their own words by recording interviews and oral testimonies about their life, culture and experiences. So in this project, we had 5 oral history workshops, and in those we explored themes of migration, culture, identity and diaspora. So we finally get to practice doing some interviews. Once you've finished all these introductory questions, you're going to ask, can you tell me about your favourite memory of school? It's really important for the person that's asking the questions to pick up on things that they're talking about, and once they finish telling you about that memory, maybe go back into something that you found interesting.
Akademi's Oral History Project was the first of its kind. Over 30 students from across 3 schools chose a community member to interview, and these chosen loved ones range from grandparents to piano teachers, neighbours to headmasters.
When you came to London, did you face any problems?
I face 2 main problems. First thing, I have a problem with language, and still I have a problem with language because my first language is Arabic. And the second problem, the culture.
What do you remember about your early years?
My early years? Wow! They were the times when children used to be out and about, outside home, away from the TVs and tablets and mobile phones.
What activities do you do now?
I'm a classical dancer and I love dancing. If you tell me, Shreya, can you dance on the road? If there's music on, I can dance there. I love dancing.
Which classical dance do you do?
I learn Kathak.
I really liked the interviewee's answers because it really depends on what questions you ask. So asking open-ended questions was really effective.
Everyone in the sharing today has been through the same beginning process with Laura, collecting testimonies, sharing their process, discussing the themes that were coming up. And then from that point, Parbati has led her students into her own sort of choreographic process, and Krishna and Linnéa have led their students into their own choreographic process separately. So we've seen sort of people share the same stimulus and then that develop and flourish into something quite different.
So I worked with the students of Pagrav Dance Company. One of the first tasks I gave to the students was for them to note the emotional energy of their respective interviews and of their reflection on the content. They then did 2 things. They created a short phrase or a sequence of movement from scratch, and they adapted some material which I taught. And in terms of actually working with the source material, I wouldn't ask the students to listen to their respective interviews while creating movement necessarily, but to be thinking more about what impression the interviews left.
Maintaining the culture with friends, it was difficult. You had to adapt to the English way of socializing.
I speak Gujarati with all Swahili words, and then my language is also, even though I speak in Gujarati, half of it is in English.
I used to find it very awkward because if somebody addresses you as Mr. Danji, and I say, well, that's my grandfather's name.
Krishna Zivraj-Nair and her senior student Linnéa from Sanskruti Cambridge took their oral testimonies in a different choreographic direction.
So at first we had each of the students pick out a favourite or a least favourite story from their oral testimonies. and choreograph something themselves as a response to their story. So this is when we introduced rasas to the dancers.
I interviewed my dad, and he was talking about how when his family would go to sleep, he would sneak out and take the family bike and go to the other side of the river to go and play with his friend. I think the rasa I would use would be courage or laughter.
One group does the dance movement of the person who's traveling. The second group does the dance movement of the person's mind. And your issue of transition is solved.
That's cool, yeah.
We discovered through this process that oral histories are a rich stimuli for dance, containing anecdotes, memories, emotions, and imagery. This project was a bit of an experiment, a new meeting point for choreography and oral history that Akademi has not tried before. So these choreographic responses are the beginnings of something much bigger.
Do you think that after having done the interviews, it changes your relationship with the person you were interviewing?
Yeah, because now I'm really comfortable with talking with my granddad because I know a lot about him.
But when we started the dancing half of this Akademi project, I really felt that I was taking part in a live show.
Interviewing skills, firstly, confidence to speak, the idea of capturing someone's story through asking questions.
In the beginning, I was feeling nervous and felt a bit difficult to understand about oral history project, but step by step, I learned and enjoyed it really well, and it was a wonderful experience.
I'm so impressed by how much everybody has embraced all of the very different challenges of this project. Working with oral testimonies, using that as a stimulus for dance. There are so many layers on which I thought everybody was really stepping out of their comfort zone, and I just felt like it was really embraced.
Thank you for all the students' hard work throughout the project.
Thank you for me interviewing you.
That's okay, Sia. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been interesting.
Thank you, Ba and Gala, for your time and sharing your interesting stories with me.
Thank you so much for doing the interview, Mama.
And this is really exciting. You've done an amazing job at interviewing me.
Thanks for your time and sharing interesting facts about your childhood.
Well, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you for sharing our family history and culture. Thank you for your lovely report and your childhood memories to share with us.
Thank you very much, Angela, for asking me to do it.
It took me back all those years. It jogged a lot of my memories, yeah. Feel happy about it, yeah.
More information on the Oral History Project can be found on Akademi's website and social media channels, including 3 podcasts featuring original testimonies.